Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. Good afternoon. And we are going to start our training in about 5 minutes, 1 p.m., 1 5 p.m. Singapore hour. So if you want to go to, get a coffee or stretch your legs, please go ahead. We will start in 5 minutes. Thank you. Okay, so let's begin our training today. Good afternoon. My name is Rafael Santana. I'm going to quickly open my camera just to say hi to everyone. I'm based in Mexico City, so it is almost midnight here, but it is always a pleasure to be here on the Houston trainings. So let's start working with our training. So today we're going to have our HCSA Next Generation Firewall Certification Training. And here is the information about the instructors today. As I say, my name is Rafael Santana. I work as a channel enablement manager here at Houston Networks. There you have my email, my phone number if you need to ping me. Also, with us is Adif Mansour, who is my teammate, and also his channel enablement manager. There is his information, and the QR codes are if you want to connect with us via LinkedIn. We will be very happy, glad if we can connect and follow up. So today I'm going to be the trainer, and tomorrow we are going to switch. I'm going to be the backup, and Adif is going to be the main structure. So any questions you have here now or in the future, there you have how to contact us. Okay. So as we all know, we are going to have the HCSA today for next generation firewall, as it is an online training. As we can see here, it's only going to be 2 days, 4 hours, so 8 hours in total. Okay, we have here a question. Of course, if you want to make any comment, any question, please use the Q&A box that it is at the bottom and in the bar at the bottom. There's the Q&A box. There you can write us questions, comments, or any whatever you want to communicate with us. It is always very important to us to have this um, two ways communication, right? So we know that you are there, and of course it is a 4 hour training. So be talking and talking to the computer, it could be very tired. So we have this interaction with you. It makes it very more easygoing, right, for everyone. So please, please, if you have something to say, use that Q&A box. So the exam method is going to be 70 multiple choice questions. So you have 90 minutes to answer this test. You have a little bit more than a minute per question. So sometimes because they're very easy questions actually, and some others that requires a little bit more effort. So uh, if you have also some inquiries about the exam process, let us know. If you want to pass, the passing score is 70% accuracy. So 49 questions answered correct. There is no prerequisites for this certification, and the validity is for 2 years. As we know, today we're going to focus on next generation firewall on this training. Here is some of the basic of the contents we are going to review during this training, and there are the 6 chapters we are going to dive in. Okay, here are some course resources you can use. As you know, the kind of knowledge base, online documents, as others. But no worries, I'm going to share with you a QR in which you can download all the materials for this that we are going to review during this training. Okay, it is very important to understand the certification process we have here at Histone Networks. On the left side, we can see here the HCSS. This is a certification for salespeople. But also, if you want to know more about the commercial training and the commercial point of view of Houston, I would like to encourage you also to take this training whenever you have the chance. Also, we have the tech labs. Tech labs are is as it says, is technical knowledge, but it is focused on specific topics. It could be, just for giving an example, it could be CGNet, SD1, or CGNA. I don't know, maybe some features about NDR, whatever it is a need. It is a need for our partners. You can we have these tech labs on regular basis, and we also publish them on our calendar. But also, if you have the need for a specific training, you can request it, and we can see what we can do to provide you that specific training. And on the other side, on the right side, here we have all the training, the technical training path. As you can see, everyone must start with HCSA. As you can see, we have HCSA for different products. Here is today we are going to it is about the next generation firewall, but also we have HCSA for NDR, ADC, as other HISO products that are mentioned here. Once you have you have approved the test, then you can move on and continue with your training path and take the HCSP training. And HCSA is a prerequisite for this other training. Once you have complete the HCSP, then you can move on to the summit of this training path, the Houston Certified Security Expert. Um, these trainings are online, or also, well, I'm going to explain it in the next slide. As I said, this is the procedure to accomplish the complete certification path. As I say, it starts with the HCSA, then you move to HCSP, and then the final goal is the HCSE. Here is this information again about the exam method. Here, as I said, this is the contents you are going to have to review before taking your tests. Actually, you're going to receive your credentials for the test hopefully by tomorrow. If not, you're going to receive it next week. So, but no worries, you're going to get them, and it's the test is done in our platform, so it's not a big deal to log in and to access to the tests. Okay, and here you can download the the materials. Please let me know on the Q&A box if you can access to this QR, if you can download the materials. Please let me know. I'm going to give you some minutes so you can start downloading. And please tell me if the download is successful. Okay, I'm going to wait here for a couple minutes. Please let me know on the Q&A box if you have downloaded the materials. and also to verify if you can hear me well and everything's okay. Please let me know. Please don't be shy and just let me know if you're ready to move on the Q&A box that it is in the bottom of the Zoom menu. So please let me know, okay? Okay, great. Thank you, Luis. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, so if everyone is ready, then we can move on. And please, if you want to follow up the training with the materials, it's okay. If or also you can take your notes and maybe study another time later before taking your test. So with this, we conclude the introduction, and we will move forward to our first chapter we are going to have today. 1 second, please. Thank you, Skanda. I'm glad no problems to download. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's start with the real deal, why we are here today. This is chapter 1, network security basis. So here's the agenda. We are going on this chapter. We are going to move. We are going to review some network security basic principles, the definition of the firewall, the development of firewall detection technology, and of course the Houston security products. So let's go. Our first chapter: network security basic principles. Well, first, when we think about network security, we have to think about there's it's not only about perimeters, right? And the main goal here is to protect, of course, information systems and from unauthorized access, disruptions, depths, as other sort of threats there are out there. Well, of course, also prevent the destruction of the computer networks. For this, there are three basic concepts that I think that everyone know here already are already maybe have heard about it, them, the confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So, but it's also to, here we're trying to protect not only the computers, right? Or it's to protect the whole environment, the network, the endpoints, the cloud. That's when we talk about security. Great. I'm glad that you have downloaded. Thank you. So network security, of course, also includes the computer security, as we have said, as I have said. This we can think about this like the endpoint security also, right? And the goal here is to protect this focus on using this technical means to protect the endpoints, of course, against viruses, malware in general, Trojans, virus, and of course, other sort of attacks carried on by hackers, malicious hackers. We also have here the network security that the means of this is to protect the computer networks, right? And this includes, for example, the network devices. They could be, of course, firewalls, routers, switches, as others, but also includes the network access control, network traffic analysis, as other topics that can be included here in network security. Then moving on to application security, of course the main goal is to protect the applications, right? But here is against maybe vulnerability scanning that can be used by malicious actors to make it to facilitate their intentions to exploit any vulnerability they can find on these applications, but also applications control access controls as others. We can see here also includes the data security that, for example, the the actions we can do for the data security, for example, includes, of course, the data encryption, backups, recovery, and data access controls. And for physical security, maybe when we are on on an office and there are some servers, maybe we sometimes don't think that all the things that are around it, right, that has impact on the cybersecurity. For example, here it could be the security cameras, the access control systems, for example, the of course the fire and death prevention measures, and of course security guards maybe can be included here on physical security. And but last but not least, there is a personal security. This involves, of course, using the security management measures to protect the security of each individual. This includes, for example, the employee security awareness training, uh, of course, and checking background checks where before hiring someone and becomes an employee, maybe there is something that it's not good on their background, right? Like some situation, debt background, or maybe some situations that can impact against our network security, our environment, right? And of course, also the personal access controls as others. Here, there's the concept of distinction, and the thing here is to understand that there are a lot of things that are included when we think about cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is not only one of those that are mentioned here, but it is all of them and even more, right? So when we think about cybersecurity, it is a very wide scope. So sometimes it is difficult to understand the differences between, for example, one area and another area and where they merge, right? So this is the basic idea about this graphic. So as we can see, there is the network security, the information security, the data security, and of course, they can have all their differences between each, but also they also have some things on which they have in common, right? So that's the main objective of this graphic you are watching right now. And just as a reminder, if you want to ask a question, please use the Q&A box. And here we have some fundamental security principles. For example, we have the confidentiality. That basically confidentiality it is that the information or the data can only be accessed by those who has been granted with the authority, with the privilege of accessing that data, right? The integrity is that the data remain the same. It doesn't matter if it is resting or it is on the moving on traffic. But for example, we can use here the checksums as other techniques to verify the integrity, or the hash, for example, to verify the integrity of the data, that it is not modified. But for example, maybe if someone uh, makes some changes on your bank account. Maybe if they add zeros, it's not bad, right? But if they start taking out, well, it's going to be a huge impact on each individual side. And of course, the availability, which means that information should be available when it is requested, right? For example, also going back to the bank account example, if we need to make a transfer or we want to only to check our balance in our bank account and it is not available, well, that is going to cause us a bad user experience, and maybe it's not so critical, right? But there's other situations in which availability could be very critical. Also, we have these other principles as authentication, that is to verify the credentials, right? Who are you? Who are you saying you are? And how you can verify that you? How can you authenticate that you are that specific user? And the authorization, once the credentials has been presented and that have been accepted, we have to then to check which which privileges are given to each individual on a specific situations. So that's authorization. For non-reputation, does someone here can please on the Q&A box say what does reputation means? I'm going to give you a couple minutes. So if someone know what's reputation, please let us know. No one? Okay. I'm going to wait maybe a couple um, uh, one moment, one moment more to wait for someone who says what's a reputation. Okay, very shy audience. No worries. Okay, so reputation, it's the capability of saying it wasn't me. It was nice, so that I didn't do something, right? So the non reputation, it means that you cannot say that it wasn't you who carry out some actions, because maybe there are digital signatures, maybe you are the only one who has the credentials to access to something. So when you have this non reputation, it means that there's no way on which you can say that that was not your fault, right? Or that it wasn't you. Not the non-repudiation. Sometimes there's some, even in when you sign your agreement with your company. Sometimes there are non-repudiation closure in which it states that you are responsible for the actions that are carried out with your credentials, with your accounts. So that's the non-reputation. Security, well, everyone knows here what's the security. Prevention is to exactly to prevent the attacks, these proactive measures we can take in advance to avoid being attacked, right? To prevent data leaks or whatever that can be a bad situation for for these principles, exactly for the confidentiality, integrity, or availability of our data. The detection, of course, it means that to spot these threats, these vulnerabilities, and to have this to spot them. Then the incident response is how we are going to respond to these detections, how we are going to classify them, right? We are going to verify if they are actually real threats or if it is just, for example, it could be a false positive or something that maybe it was spotted as a threat because it's something unusual, but that unusual it could mean that it is a threat, but also it could mean that it doesn't. It's like it doesn't is like a 100% all times, right? That something that deviates from the regular, because it's an a threat. So as we can see here, here's the goal is to secure the object, and to securing the object, we need these three pillars to sustain the security of this object that we are thinking about. Here we have a little bit more about the confidentiality, as we say, is protect against unauthorized access. So, for example, here are some proactive measures we can use. For example, the encryption, as we said, and for example, here is to prevent the sensitive information from being stolen or of being misused, right? Then here we have the integrity, that it is not, that the data is not tampered, altered, or destroyed. Here are also some protective measures that we have already mentioned. Uh, how is Skanda? How is non-repudiation related to a repudiation attack? Repudiation attack. I have never heard about a repudiation attack. I don't know if you have ever heard about a repudiation attack.
This is not a reputation attack. Actually, it's like, when you have no reputation, it's like you cannot say that, like, you don't do something. Okay, so that is a way. For example, if you run some attacks, and I mean your devices, for example, your PC is like it's pretty ransomware, let's say. Okay, and you say I don't do it. Okay, but this attack or these packets has your digital signature. So this is not repudiation. Of course, you can, like, putting in the same way, like an attack, but actually I don't think that there is an attack about no reputation. It's more like a fundamental. And of course, using reputation is that it's like you cannot claim, uh if you do that, if you I mean, if your devices do that. Okay, that is the way. Okay, Raf, you go
Th-
ahead.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. It is not a type of attack. It is like you say exactly. Thank you, Dave. So here also some of these measures we can have, such as for integrity as digital signatures, backups, access control, but also uh, to verify this, we can have, for example, hash or checksums, right? To verify the integrity of the data. Here again, for availability, the data is accessible and protected. For example, here again some measures we can take. for this, this is the CIA. It's not the American CIA, but the it is stands for C for confidentiality, I for integrity, and A for availability. The priority level, which is more important than other. Actually, the answer depends on your goals, on your point of view. For example, some of now that I have mentioned the CIA, for example, if you work on the FBI or any intelligence agency on your country, maybe there the confidentiality is what is going to take precedence because the information is maybe top secret or it must be the access to that information must be restricted so no one can interfere with your investigations, right? So, but for example, here's another example for industrial controls. Maybe here availability takes precedence because of the business continuity. If for industrial controls, if there's no availability, the everything is going to stop, right? So, or it's going to cause some failures. So that's why the availability in that specific case takes precedence. So no one is more important than others. All are important, but it is depending on your goals, which one is going to take precedence. So moving through the root of the security problems, what we are fighting. First, we have these external threats, as we know, the different sorts of malware, viruses, worms, trojans, and of course, hackers that are trying to attack. It doesn't matter if they are very experimented hackers or they are newbies. If they are trying to get into our network, they represent a threat, right? Because they are not authorized to do that. So then are the internal threats that sometimes these threats could be employees that are not happy with uh, with the enterprise, with the corporation, so they're maybe trying to spread malware or to leak some information, maybe some finger pointing to the for uh, for making this sort of phishing, whaling, spear phishing or whaling, right? To finger pointing who is a big fish in the office. So those internet threats not always carry out their attacks with technical knowledge. They also can use like 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 these other sort of attacks that are based on human actions, right? Like social engineering attacks. But also, for example, another threat here, well, those here for threats, we're going to think that they're they have bad intentions when we think about threats. Okay, so then moving forward, then we can see the vulnerabilities. Here, for example, could be the this attacks the denial of service that are common. They are common, but also the social engineering attack. It's a vulnerability. What is a vulnerability? What's the difference here between a vulnerability and a threat? Okay, the big difference here between one and another is that threats actually are things that are external to us. We can take proactive actions to prevent them, but in the end, we cannot avoid that someone is going to have malicious actions, right? That's a part of their nature. So, or their intentions or their context, maybe. But that's something that it is we cannot avoid that they're going to exist. And vulnerabilities, they are things that we can avoid. For example, social engineering attacks. maybe we have a very, very good awareness program. It is we are going to strengthen our employees, and this vulnerability is not going to be so useful for the attackers. So that's one example. For example, we can see here the communications failures, that this vulnerability, of course, interruption of the power supply, and of course, system vulnerabilities that are vulnerabilities in the on the code of the programs, apps, applications, or even on the websites that can be exploited, can be discovered and exploited by these malicious actors to carry out their plans. And of course, hardware failures. It doesn't mean that the developers of the hardware want us to be attacked, but actually the attackers are so creative that they can find out ways to exploit these failures on hardware, right? For example, there was a very um, popular case about security cameras that has this as a hardware failure. I don't remember the brand, but it was a big thing, at least in the US and Canada, that when they find out that it was the vulnerabilities on the hardware, there was several vulnerabilities and they were very easy to exploit. So hardware can also have these vulnerabilities, right? And of course, the natural factors, natural disasters, fire can destroy, of course, a data center, an office, or somewhere in which our devices are right. For example, a thunderstorm can also cause variations on the power that can also affect the systems. We have there could be floods, earthquakes as all the as others, tornadoes, whatever you can imagine that is related with these natural factors. So the goal of network security is how can we face all these different uh, ways that we can be affected. So moving forward, we are going to review very quickly the definition of the firewall. Well, of course, Gartner, which is a very recognized analyst, defines the network firewall as we can see here, an aligned control that enforces security policies in real time between networks of different trust levels. So, on the in the past, we used to think that here was a safe zone. The internal network was safe, right? And the internet or the external network was unsafe. We were only thinking about how can I protect for this traffic, malicious traffic, to get into my network. But today we also know that, for example, if our devices are on the command and control server, so they're going to carry out actions that maybe are not going to be easy to spot, or some people are not going to even care about. But then we can start having bad reputation issues for our IP, can start having bad reputation issues, or we can start carrying out attacks to other networks. So that's why it's also important to relevance is important to have this control and security not only for what is getting in but also for what is going out of our network. So this on the trust levels, for example, if with this different trust levels, it means that who on this internal network can reach out to external network, and where it can go, where I allowing my devices to have communication with the external network. but also which if this internal external network is trying to communicate with my internal network, it's also to have these trust levels. Maybe there I'm going to block some countries or IP specific IPs, or there are a lot of ways we can set up these different trust levels. On the development of firewall detection technology, we are moving to this third episode of this chapter. Well, here we can see the evolution history of the firewall. First, we have this before the 95. We can see this first stage in which was with packet filtering, and they were only using access control lists. But if for the access control list, we have the one device here that is communicated with, here's the internet. That's imagine use a lot of imagination to think that that's a cloud. So it's reaching to other device, right? But with the access control list, and here we have uh, this first firewalls. And then the situation here is that it checks against the access control list when the traffic is going out, and it checks again the access control list when it is getting in. It doesn't have a session as it doesn't. There was not already a definition of session, so it was a very simple way to solve the requirements then. But of course, before 95, the the use of internet was not so common, right? Most of us neither even have a computer in our house. Maybe we had a computer. We were not thinking about reaching out to the internet. Or maybe, but in a very a lower scale, right? Then moving forward between 96 and 2007, we have this second stage was there was all there with the stateful inspection. It was this connection based on IP. So here started the concept of session. The session that it is what I am allowing here, saying I was trying to explain with this graphic that it it is understanding that the communication is two ways, right? If I am asking and doing a request, I am expecting a response. So that's part of the session concept. But there were some issues here that, for example, with this stateful inspection, it was not possible to handle this encrypted traffic, or for example, the HTTP based on applications. Here was mainly for browsing, using the browsers and use maybe going to websites, but the concept of application was not ready for on this stage. Then this last third stage, well, after 2008, and of course the concept of next generation firewall actually is not something new, right? It's it's it is a concept that has been in the industry for almost 16 years, so it is a long time. But with the next generation firewalls, there were some things that were enhanced that actually become like very important for the industry, like the app signatures and app behavior. So this next generation firewall can understand the concept of applications, and also are capable of controlling and inspecting on encrypted packets or from those apps. But one of the most important things that were implemented during this third stage is the concept of role-based user identification. Who is this user? What is its role? And what it's going to be, which privilege are going to be granted to this specific user. As we can see here with the packet filter firewall, it is a first stage. As we can see here, there's no application here that it exactly only checks the IP, the packet header, IP address, a port, and that's it. So as I say, it requires this bidirectional all permit policy, and of course the packets were filled via access control list only. So that was the beginning, and as we can see here in the image, there's the application. It's not highlighted as the others because it was not even taken into consideration to, as a need, right, on those times. Here, moving forward, here we have this we introduce this session technology, and this session technology is has this it is the session is identified by this five tuple. The five tuple means that the firewall is going to check against some specific things. For example, here the source of the IP, the source IP, the destination IP, the same with the port, and the IP protocol number. So, for example, if I only create a policy that allows this user to go, this is a firewall, of course, this user to go out and reach this telnet server, and this telnet server is answering back to the user, but I have set in which I am allowing this user to communicate to this telnet server. How it is possible that we get the response from the telnet server? Can someone tell us on the chat box what concept is used here, or how is this possible? I repeat, I have only set up the policy that allows this specific IP address to reach this specific public IP address, but the traffic is also going back, right, to the who sent the request. What concept allow us to make this possible? Can someone please let us know? Don't be shy, please. Exactly, Luis. Thank you. Yes, of course, because of the sessions, the session concept, as we have said, there is no need to verify again if we are having this loop, right? Like we can still think at it as a loop, like I am requesting, I am getting some response. I am requesting, I am getting response. So that's how we don't have to create more policies. Thank you, Luis. And here for, of course, now entering to the next generation firewall realm, we can see here that, of course, it uses the IPs, it uses the ports, but also includes user concept, the application concept, and also to the content. So it used the five tuple that we have said. It used the application ID and the user ID. So it enhances the security. It is more rich context of how we are establishing these communication processes, right? And of course, this that what I have mentioned before, the content identification. So now the next generation firewall, we think at it as a as a very well trained security guard that is going to be inspecting all the time what is going in and what is going on off our network. And also, when we think about network security, next generation firewall, sorry, we have to think next generation firewall application layer. That was the layer that if we think the OSI model, next generation firewall provides this comprehensive protection from layer 2 to layer 7, right? Or that's the aim, of course, that's the objective to provide comprehensive protection to from go moving up and down through the OSI model, the OSI model, as we say in Spanish. Of course, it is going to filter uh, traffic that is going to go to consider unsafe or malicious. Then, if we go a step beyond, then we can think about the intelligent firewall. This means that it is powered. Most of the times, when we say that intelligent next generation firewall, it means that it is powered by AI most of the times, but that it is also capable to manage protection for a more recent sort of types of device that are being included in our network environments, right? For example, in Internet of Things, a lot of next generation firewalls cannot handle those, but the traffic that they generate. So uh, I know that a lot of IoT um, things that are sold, that most of them represent high risk, right, for networks because the lack of patches and new firmware versions. So with intelligent firewall, we are capable to have a deeper visibility and to, of course, strengthen our protection capabilities. Of course, this needs not only IoT but also OT, operational technologies, which are related with a lot of industries. So those are this is like the last step that the firewalls have taken into this in this race of improving technologies to make security more robust. Here we can see some next generation firewall functions. As we can see, if there's some concept here that you don't know, please let me know. We will be happy to explain it. For example, high availability, virtual systems. Well, virtual systems, it is the capability to logically divide the physical firewall into several virtual firewalls. For example, if you are providing like a firewall as a service uh, product, virtual systems are have very good options to provide that sort of service. But let's move ahead. Also monitor not only the traffic but also the status of the network, the status of the devices that are within the network, right? The the Internet Protocol version 6, so that to support this dual stack. The next generation firewalls cannot only rely on Internet Protocol version 4, of course. They have to have this capability of dual stack and some network basic functions as switching, routing, session management, etc. And of course, the next generation firewalls can also act as a VPN gateway that can support different sorts of VPN protocols. So there are some examples. Here are some functions. As we know, the SSL, the decryption, for example, and other security features, as we can see here, the link load balancing, server load balancing. Of course, these are some capabilities that next generation firewalls has, right? But there are other products that also have these capabilities and can even do it better as an application delivery controller or link load balancing or server load balancing. But having these functions within our next generation firewall is a very good start. It's good, and it maybe that's more than enough for the requirements on our network. Of course, the endpoint access monitor, the traffic quota, the quality of service, and the user authentication. That it could be Active Directory, local, radius, as others. Please use the Q&A box if you have any questions. Maybe I am moving very fast or maybe too slow. Let me know your comments. And here we have also these functions, but oriented completely to the threat protection. First, we have this data security, botnet command and control prevention, IP reputation, web access control as URL filter, cloud sandbox, antivirus, intrusion prevention system, and attack defense. Attack defense, it means that how the next generation firewall is going to answer, right, when it detects an attack, how it's going to defend the network, which so give me 1 second, please. Okay, it's okay. We can move on. So these are some of the threat protection capabilities. So moving forward to the product introduction, some people think that well, I have heard about Houston, but when I think about Houston, I only think about this next generation firewall. Well, so is in about is it's all this fall under subscription or by default there's in okay, that's a good question, Thailand. Actually, we're going to look into the licenses, so it is under subscription, most of them. Some of them, some others are included, but we're going to have a more detailed description on the during this training. So about this, but it is a very good question. Thank you very much, Diane. So when you think about Houston, please, what I encourage you is to first think on this base level, right? That it is the solutions. What is under this line? The solutions. What solutions we can offer with Houston? Here they are. The XDR is a concept, NDR is also a concept. All of these are concepts, but they are solutions we are offering. Then, if when you move over to the products, then please think when you think in our products, think on these four categories: the edge protection, and which products are within this category: the cloud protection, breach prevention, and application protection. And at the top, we can see here another product that here actually is our iSource. iSource is our XDR platform. It is also the HCSA, which stands for Houston Security Management. With this platform, we can manage different devices as it is, for example, the next generation firewalls, the IPS, as others, from and centralize that management. And then we have also the HCSA, which it collects logs. HCSA stands for Houston Security Audit, so it makes a lot of sense. It is to retain these logs for a longer time and to avoid issues related with the storage on our devices. And we can centralize it. And if there's any forensic needs or investigation to carry out further investigations, having all those logs, it could be a very good idea. And CloudView, which is also a centralized management platform, with it works for monitoring from endpoints devices. So if with this we are finishing our first chapter, and now I'm going to start with a poll that you you must be able to watch it now on your screen. I'm going to give you some minutes, 5 minutes to answer it, and I will be back in 5 minutes. So it's 5 questions. It's very easy, but it is a very good exercise to prepare for the exam. I'm sorry. Yeah, I have just noticed that it is in Spanish. 1 second. Let me see if there is in English. One second, please. And yeah, sorry. Yeah, yeah. 1 second, please. Okay. Okay. So yeah, they have been changed into Spanish. So okay, let's do it on a different way. Uh, on the first question, and you can answer on the Q&A. The first question is, which products are part of the edge protection? So we have the AX series, the A series, I series, exactly, A series. Which other? You can say it by name, maybe not by series. The AX X, you can say maybe the whatever product is there. That's the first question. Okay, so I think that this is going to, okay, Skander, A, X, and S. Exactly, Skander. Thank you very much. Okay, what I'm going to do is to make this more uh, easy. By the end of the training, I'm going to share with you these practice questions on an email, so you can, yeah, I know you can see questions because they're in Spanish. Sorry, so no worries. I'm going to translate them for you in on English, so you can have this practice question and do not consider there's a disadvantage because you don't they were in the Spanish. Sorry about that. So we are going to move forward. And I'm going to start the next chapter. Second, please. Okay, our chapter number 2, security management and operation. Here's our agenda: default system management, license management. That was one of the questions that were done before. The firmware upgrading, and of course, the device management. Let's start with the default system management. When you're going to do when you're going to manage a device, there of course there are several methods you can use. Here we can see, for example, the so you can do it of course directly, or oh, sorry, you can do it directly, or of course remotely by using CLA or web UI. But here, for example, we have the console, uh, the console interface, and for here when you are doing this direct connection of the endpoint with the device, right? So here are the baud rate. Here are the parameters you have to set up if you are going to do this connection. Most of the times you are going to use this value 9600, the data bit 8, and the stop bit 1. So as you can see, it is very straightforward and easy to make this this management connection. But also we can do it through the Ethernet 00 or management port. Most of the devices has a management port. There are some starting tier models that may not have that actually do not have the management port, but if they do not have it, then you can use the Ethernet 00 port. So here is the username and password by default are always Houston. Uh, no capital letters, so everything with the as we can say see it here, and it is also the management IP by default that it's going to have. Okay, so if you are trying to do the management for the first time, just follow up this table, and it's very straightforward. Also, if you want to do the management on the user interface, take in consideration that only HTTPS is enabled by default. It doesn't mean that you cannot enable other protocols. You can, but this is the default. This is also very important you have in mind for the test. And also, we can just hear the Ethernet port, and that this is our the default management settings. And we can see, as I say, the username and password always is Houston. I know that is not a strong password, but it is just actually once you have signed login using these credentials, the system is going to require password change. So you can strengthen it. Also, if you are going to access on command line via command line, only take in mind also that only SSH it is enabled. If you want to enable others, maybe telnet, it can be enabled, but this is the default setting. Also, as I said, same IP address, same credentials, everything is almost the same. This is for SSH, right? Then moving forward, also you can, when you're trying to when you're accessing via console, as I said, this is the baud rate that is going to be used most of the times, 9600 and Houston. And maybe a lot of people do not want to use console anymore, but this is only to provide you different options, right? For virtualized management, for example, for virtual firewalls, sorry, we can use, for example, this comment show interface, and it is going to we're going to be able to see the IP interface as it is here, and and this, for example, as we can see here, this is the IP address, and it match with what we have here if we are using the console, right? The so use this comment, and with this comment, you're going to be able to manage these virtualized firewalls that are going to be part of maybe of the virtual systems that you have that you are going to enable with your firewalls. The full password change, as we have said before, the password is Houston. So it is a level of protection. Here is mentioned here that it is necessary to enhance to make it more robust, right? So as I said, during the initial login, administrations are going to require to change the default password. The new password, you can set up the complexity requirements, the length, the how many numbers, how many letters, special characters, etc. So this is the how complex the passwords are going to be. It's something that depends on you. Actually, there's a we're going to see in the following slides the 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 default the standard that Houston set up, but you can modify it and you can make it very strong or very easy to handle, right? So for the configuration mode, there are three different modes we have here. We have the execution mode. Actually, for once you are in the command line, you can use this command. Excuse me for my ugly handwriting on the computer. Exec, that it means for execution mode. It stands well. It stands for execution mode. And for example, you type exec and then use the tab use the tab, use tab, then you're going to have different options. If you have access to a device, you can try it right now or whenever you have a chance. In this mode, we can only configure the device with our privilege. Then we have a next mode that goes deeper is the global configuration mode. As we can see here, it is using this command configure. And as we can see also here, it has changed. So it means that we are on the different on a different level, right? So here we can modify the device settings as other things. Well, basically only device settings. For example, the interfaces. Well, no. Here is the only the device settings, and then are soft models for the configuration. Soft models. There are different commands we can use to access to these different soft models. For example, if you use this uh, uh, configure interface Ethernet 00, we can configure exactly that interface, and we can set up the different features for each interface. So as we can see here, there are three levels. This is also very important that you have into consideration when you are studying for your exam. Any questions? Please let me know. Okay, apparently no questions. Okay, so here we have some commonly used comments that, for example, will show, some others that we can see here. For example, for show version, interface, IP route, SNAT that stands for Source Network Address Translation, destination, network address translation, DNet, policy. We can verify all the policies that have been set up on our device here. Configuration, uh, unload, re-unload. Yeah, do you mean the configurations of the policy, the all the policy, the configurations? Tayalan, do you mean that if you can download the policies? Download. Please let me know. And save. Actually, this comment it is very useful because if once we have input comment, yes, okay, let me 1 second. Tayalan. Once the policy applied, can we unload temp means policy? Adif, I don't know if you can address this last question, please.
Yes. Actually, what Zayalan is saying is like if we can disable the policy, and yes, you can not just delete the policy, of course you can, but also you can disable the policy.
Of course. Thank you. So yeah, we can on the knowledge base, you can get the complete command line comments. There you can find all comments you can use. I don't know if okay, yeah, a pleasure. Okay, so with save, actually when we input a comment, it is implemented is by at the moment. It doesn't need a further comment to be implemented, right? The previous comment. So with save, what are we doing is to save the all the configurations we have done up to the that moment, and so we can, for example, if we have made some setup of policies and configurations, and we're going to do something that we don't know how it's going to impact, the best the practice here will be to save the all the setup and configuration we have done already. So if something goes wrong with what we're going to deploy on further steps, and we decide that, well, this is not working so good, we can go back to the previous configuration, previous setup. We're going to see this more on detail further slides. And this command is also very, very important because with this command, we can reset the device to factory default. So it is a very important command, but also use it wisely. Here, if we have we can, for example, check the system status. For example, the device plot with show version that with this comment. We can, for example, use the hardware platform. We can see here, this is a hardware platform, right? The serial number is also mentioned here. The Stone OS version. Here's where a lot of confusions happen because most of the times people when see this information say, okay, here is the version, right? But no, this is not. If you are like troubleshooting with the tag team, when they ask you for the version, Stone OS version, actually they are asking for this information. This is the version you are actually using on your devices. So if you're trying to do this troubleshooting and you're being asked for the version, provide this information. Of course, other things as device running time status that are here. For example, this has been uptime for 22 hours, etc. And for example, the licenses. For example, here we have the license. Well, we're going to see more licenses in the further slides. Also, with this other comment with show interface, we can check the status of each interface. For example, on which the IP address, of course, the interface name, the zone on which they're assigned to. For example, well, this belongs with this. If it is up and down, depending on the, for example, physical state, administration state, and of course, MAC address. And if we want to provide a description while configuring these interfaces, we can provide here a description, and it's also going to be shown there. Okay, to restoring to factory settings, there are three different ways we can do this, but be careful because of course, restore to factory settings means that all configurations and settings are going to be erased. So it doesn't, even those that have been saved. So everything is going to be as brand new, right? We are going to lose all information. There are some ways we can back up this information, but we're going to address it in the following slides. Of course, we already have seen the onset all, the command using the web user interface. We can see it right here. If we follow this path, system, concept, configuration, file management, backup, restore, and restore. And there's how we are going to do this going back to factory settings with web interface. But also we have the clear button, the button that it is on the back of the most of the devices has it on the back, and it is a hard reset. So first, for example, this can be used as it is stated here with the administrator, forget the device's password. You can recover, but if you maybe prefer to go back to factory settings, it's okay. So first you have to power up the device, then press the clear button through the pinhole, And then while pressing the pinhole, then you have to power on the device and keep pressing that button until these two LED uh, indicators turn on constant red. There are some devices, most of the entry tire, like the smaller devices, maybe 8200 and maybe others, that only has, I think they only have a status alarm indicator, but in that case, only with this it's constant red, and the rest of them, when both of them are constant red, and then release the pin, and the system will start resetting itself. And of course, it will reboot automatically and will be restored by the end of this process. Okay, moving through license management. There are three different types of license that you're going that we have on Houston. The most important for restore configuration, can we use different model to the another model? No, no, Zalayan. Please, actually, to import policies, maybe it's possible, but the configuration, I think not. Adif, do you know if it is possible to use these configurations from model to model?
Yes, it can be, but you should be sure about, for example, if you have interfaces, I mean configuration in the interfaces. For example, if you have, let's say, 12 interfaces, and you are going to configure a another firewall, but it just have, for example, 6 interfaces. So you have to take care about it, because if the hardware is different, I mean, if the model and the hardware is different, it could be an issue if you try to, configure something that doesn't exist in the new model. So you can do it, but you have to, like, customize, uh, the old configuration to the new.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, going back to the licenses, there are three types of licenses. This is the most important, the platform license. I'm going to explain why on the next slide. There are also the function license and the service license. So for the platform license, there are two different types of platform license, the trial license and the commercial license. This the trial license, there are some confusions here because a lot of people thinks that it is for 30 days, but no, actually the default trial license, it is for 15 days. So the 30 days is the top sales engineer can provide, maybe for a proof of concept, or that is needed for 30 days instead of 15. Okay, but that's only through the request, through a request to your sales engineer or BDMs, to get this extra time, right, to double the trial license time. So what happens if this license expires? Well, first, you will not be able to modify the existing configuration. So the configuration is going to be stuck as it is. And if if the system, the device has a reboot or gets the power age, there's no power. Once the power is back, the system is going to be reboot to factory default. maybe you can say, okay, this is a terrible idea, but please have in consideration that this is only for the trial license. It's not the commercial license. This is only for a proof of concept or a demo, a lab, or whatever you have done during a specific time range, right? Of course, for installing this license, there is no need to reboot, take effect. So then there's also for the without platform license, the system it is also like a box, right? It doesn't it is not going to provide any value. We need the platform license to make it works. For trial license only for VMM available or appliance also, of course. Uh, this is, for example, if you are having a deal and you're trying to sell maybe 8200s next generation firewalls, you can use the trial license for the proof of concept. It is what is known as POC, okay? Proof of concept or demos or whatever. So for the commercial license, you can install the license once you get your device. And it will provide you basic firewall functionalities and VPN capabilities. What happens if this license expires? For example, I have a firewall and my license expired yesterday. This firewall functionalities and VPN capabilities are going to stay enabled. You know, so there's no you are not going to lose everything. These capabilities are going to still working. But what we are not going to be able to do is to upgrade the Stone OS version. So if there's any functionality or upgrade that I know that there is on further versions, you will not be able to get them because you will not, of course, you will not be capable to do this upgrade into the OS. And also, if you get this, even if you are doing a renovation of this commercial license, there is no need to reboot to take effect. Please let me know, especially on these topics, if everything is clear. Please, any questions you have, please let me know. Okay. So moving forward, this is the platform license, and now we are moving forward to the function license. The function license, as we can see here, well, this license do not have it in consideration anymore, the SSL VPN, because actually there is no need for license on the SSL VPN. SSL VPN is this capability has been released uh, in the new OS version. So the maximum SSL VPN capabilities of each device uh, can be used with no extra need of with no extra license needed. What is the maximum capability? You can look it at the on the data sheets that on the data sheets that there you can have this information. So we're not going to have this in consideration. But for example, for the virtual system license, that it is a business that we have said, uh, a very interesting thing here is that if you notice, no expiration date, no expiration date, no expiration date. They do not expire. And there's also no need to reboot except for the virtual system. There's the only one who needs to do the reboot when installing the license. For the quality of service CTNA, there's no need for reboot. And also, we can think CTNA as an upgrade for SSL VPN. Is CTNA stands for Zero Trust Network Access. So we can think of it as an enhanced VPN capability with the CTNA. We are actually we have if you want to know more about CTNA, there's a lot of information you can get on knowledge base and webinars we already have done on our social networks, YouTube, for example. And lastly, the service license. Here, as we can see, there are we have, for example, the antivirus, intrusion prevention system, URL database license, and application signature database. For example, here, what happened when it expires is with all of this is not possible to do some upgrades on the databases. So what is going to happen that also you're going to be stuck here for new antivirus signatures. You are not going to get them. So there's going to be you are going to be exposed. Well, the network is going to be exposed to these new variants of malware, for example. With talking when we talk about antivirus, or for example here with IPS, the same with all of them. And as you see, some of them most of them needs to reboot, reboot. Here we can see to make for the first installation, but not on the renewals. So if there's a lot, the best practice is that when uh, you are working on a solution for a customer, to think about all the licenses that are going to be needed. So once you get the device, you can install all the licenses on one shot, and then no need to maybe be out of out of line, right? By doing these reboots, or maybe if there's need to do the reboot, you can plan it ahead to do it on some slot time that it is not so critical. And here you can see on the web interface, here you can see all the licenses that are active on your device, for example, and it's going to provide you, for example, if it is a trial license or the different sorts of license that you are going to have here, the types, etc., all the data, and when until when it is going to be it's going to be up, right? So with this information, you can plan ahead that maybe in 1 month this license is going to expire. So it could be good to plan ahead when we are going to do the renewal. So we can to avoid doing it on last minute, right? When we are going to apply for for a license, first we have to fill out the request that it is here on the web UI. As you can see, this is a pad, and this is information that we are going to be asked for. The the for to get a license. The second step is to send this license request to a regional sales or sales engineer via email, and of course copy and paste the description that we have seen here, right? There's the most, if we think on this about that from a technical perspective, there are some um, for example, the device serial number, the device model, and the requested license types. These are the three more important aspects we have to take in consideration. The rest of them, of course, fill them out, but this is from a technical point of view, these are the most important requisites we are going to be asked for. And applying the license, once we get the license, we're going to get them on a zip file. And within that zip file, we are going to find different TXT files, right? On of course, they're going to be encrypted, and we are going to decrypt them. But this is what we're going to see practically when we have this decryption. As we can see here, this is the platform license. This is as we see here, the service license for antivirus, and here, as we can see, is here function license that we can see it here. So we have one of each category. For platform, of course, we only need only one. And of course, the code starts with this, with license, and finish with the double equal symbol, right? Why to mention this? Because when you are trying, when you're going to install those licenses, sometimes I have seen that they start copy and paste from here. One second. That from here instead of taking the whole text from license, so it's going to be rejected. Uh, so also be careful that do not have any blank space at the end, because that's of course that's going to make to cause a failure on this installation. You can do it manually by copy pasting, as I said, or you can upload the license file, which is whatever is easier for you. Perpetual versus subscription on VM and appliance, yes, on both categories. Perpetual subscription, well, here I'm going back a little bit. So perpetual, it's for functions. That's the perpetual license. Okay, Katur? For subscription, what you mean for subscription are this has to be renewal, right? That this is practically there are like security features that we are going to add to the next generation firewall functions. But yes, for both VM, virtual appliance, physical virtual and physical appliance. Thank you for your question. Okay, and also, of course, you can do the installation via command line. And here you have to use this command exec license install. And here, yes, it's not with the license the 2 points, 2 points here. It is only the what's after that, okay? And how to know if this is how you know that the installation has been done successfully. And as it is very important to read what the message, because for example, it mentions that we will need to reboot to active that license. So please be aware of this to have it in consideration when doing these installations. Then moving through firmware upgrading. Here, well, the bootloader has two working modes. First, there's the automatic mode and the automatic mode and the interactive mode. Under the automatic mode, the bootloader tries to start the Stone OS, and if there's no Stone OS available, or the Stone OS is invalid, then the system booting will be stopped, and with the admin, the administration here, the administrator must upgrade the Stone OS via the sys loader. Okay, and so when the bootloader starts, and if everything is okay, it's going to move directly into the Stone OS. Stone OS. If, as I said, if it is there's no Stone OS available or it is invalid there, then if the bootloader is moving to the sysloader, where the administrator is going to doing this upgrade into the OS to make it works. Please let me know if everything is here. Okay. Okay. And the sysloader, as I say, is going to select the existing OS and is going to do the upgrades via FTP, trivial FTP, or USB. Through the, if you have a saved OS version that you want to use, of course you can use a flash drive, USB flash drive, to where you can do it. But also, if there's some upgrades of the firmware, of course you can do this upgrade on the web user interface. Okay, for the Stone OS upgrade, as we can see here, we can save 2 copies of system firmware, so on each device. So as for example, if you move to a new firmware version, but for any reason you prefer the former version you were using, you can go back. So that's a perk that for the Stone OS that you can go back, roll back, right? And and here is and of course this firmware we can switch with between these 2 copies, but the best is to be consistent, right? Like if I am using this version, stick to that. And if you don't like, go a rollback and wait for a new upgrade or new version. And here is where you can get all the firmware versions. And when on the user interface on upgrade firmware, here you will be able to watch to see your current version and to select which to browse into different options to which version you want to of firmware you want to move to. And of course, to here you're going to set up the backup image that most of the times, or best practice, you have the current version should be the backup image version, right? It should become. And also we can excuse me. And also, of course, here we can then we can choose this firmware that is going to be the for the next startup. So if this was a former version, well, this here is the same version, but let's think that there are some difference between this, but this could be a former version, and this will be the next version that is going to be applied once the next start up on the device. Here, configuration, file management. For all our configurations, we can back up to 10 different configurations, and we can see here. Here is the startup, but we have from 0 to 8. So here are 9 plus 1, 10 different configurations. We can have we can backup for a restore maybe on the future. So in the here is on the user interface, the web interface, configuration file list. Here's the backup that we are going to maybe we want to restore one of these, but also as we said, what happens if I need to go back to factory settings by default and I lost everything, all my configurations? Well, you can actually export these files. As we can see here, you can export them and save them on the SSD, a flash drive, or whatever you want. You can save this, and if you need to, or even if you get a new firewall or that is the same model, you can use these configurations instead of doing it manually. You can import them into new devices. For system management, well, one of the most important things is the system time. This depends on the common practices of each business. Some of them configure them all the devices based on their headquarter time zone. Some others are on the local time zone. But this is very important because, of course, we are going to get logs and to provide a rich context of when does this happens. It is very important to very specific on the time. We can also sync them using a network time protocol server. Of course, but we can do it manually. Of course, the best practice will be doing enabling the NTP, so all the logs are on the same pace, right? So there's no this maybe small time differences that can cause some confusions when doing further investigations. The signature update, well, we use first, this is very important that you have in consideration. Actually, for your test is also relevant to this that I'm going to mention, that you must, for doing the database update, it is very important that you first verify that the file can access the internet. And the second, that the DNS server has been configured. Once we have verified both requirements, we can get the signatures from these two addresses. So there we can do these updates of the databases. Of course, these databases updates are for all the services, for example, antivirus, IPS, signatures, etc. So this is how you can do it. And here is the DNS server that please verify that DNS server has been configured. Sometimes when doing deployments for first time, a lot of people, well, not all people, but some people has issues here, but it is because of this, because they have not enabled the DNS. So, but also you can do local updates that I think that manually, and I think that we are going to look at it on following slides. That's what I was mentioning to you before, the password security. For here, once we are setting up the new passwords here on device management, security question, we can here for password reset management, we can set up the security question, the answers, and of course to double check, right? To confirm that the answer is we have provided once it's going to be the same on further occasions. But also, we can set up the complexity of the passwords. As I say, the length, the lowercase, special characters, for how long it is going to be valid. So we can set up maybe um, 90 days, 3 months. I think it's standard. So it could be 90 days, 3 months, and then we have to create new passwords. How weak or how strong we set this? Well, it depends, of course, on our compliance requirements and on the how strong we want to our credentials to be, right? That depends completely on the user side. Okay, and moving on, the separation of powers. There are three powers, and this is very important to mention that there are, for example, the system management power, the audit management, and the security management. All of them can do different things, of course, and it is uh, depending on the role of each user, it's going to have one, it's going to be part of one of at least one of these powers that we have here. Uh, the system management, of course, can only do the management of the device, right? The audit management can see the logs may well, it depends on the privilege we configure for each bot. For example, the audit management can be a read only, maybe, that it's going to be able to see what's going on, but it's not going to be capable of doing any modifications. And the highest level of power is the security management. The security management is um, who is going to set up these policies, these rules that are going to be uh, the heart, the base of our security uh, when we are talking about this device, right? 1 second. Okay. So once we have seen these three different powers, then we can move to the system at the administration roles. As we can see, there are four administration roles with different privileges. The administrator, who has this reading, writing, executing permissions, and has the authority over all features. So this will be very similar, or this will be related with the security management, right? There will be the administrator, read only, and the auditor. This, of course, will be part of the audit management power, okay? And the operator that will have to have authority over the device, but will not be able to change anything that is on the administrator configuration exclusive privileges. So that the operator will be, of course, part of the system management. So these are predefined roles that are included on the Hillstone Nexus Firewall device. But of course, it is possible to create new roles. You can set up or customize your personal by your own these roles. At the end, these are only names, right? The name it can be named I don't know, Michael Jackson. but that will not be a good practice, of course. But it can has whatever name. The name it doesn't affect at in any level. What it's going to have um, uh, an impact is here. Which privileges are we going to provide to each role? If they are going to be able to read, if they are not even um, able to see what that's something there, for example, here known, or we can tune them according to our necessities, to our needs. We can tune them according to that. And here we have this system administrator. Here we can set of course, the name of the administrator, the role, how it's going to be authenticated, the password, and through which protocols, for example, it's going to be able to log in. It's going to be able to console, SSH, HTTP, whatever we think is going to be the most practical for this administration, for this administrator to for management, right? There's a thing called trust host. The trust host is refers to a specific IP address to enable to connect for management through the device. But here's a warning I would like to say to you. The default is that, as you can see here, is that everyone is allowed to make this device management, right? So, what do you think? I'm going to stop here a couple minutes or two, and I would like to ask you a question. What do you think that will happen if we erase these two default trust hosts before creating or adding a new trust host? What do you think that it's going to happen? Okay, I'm going to give you some moments. That should be local host. Yes, that should be a local host. But what do you think, Dialan, that it's going to happen if we do not set up trust host, and we already have deleted this the default trust host? Well, I'm going to give one more minute. Disables the standard gateway. Yes, of course. Yes, of course. Muni Devan, thank you very much. Yes, we are going to be kicked out, right? So we will not be able to log in, and we will not be able to manage the device. Actually, we will have to go to the console maybe, set it up again. So before deleting the default trust host. Exactly. No access, only via CLI. Exactly. Yeah, CLI, and through of course, the console, through the console port, or of course. So be careful. Do not, if you're going to set up a trust host, set it up before deleting the others. And then, yeah, of course, it is mentioned here at the bottom. And then delete the default one. For the interface management, actually, you can set it up the ports with any number you want. You can set it up with ports that are traditionally for it assigned for each protocol, or you can establish the different a different port for each protocol. And of course, there's the possibility to do this certification authentication that is mentioned here, and you can enable it in case you need to you would like to add this connection to strengthen the connection security to like a requisite, right, for doing this management interface management. As you can see, this is the path system device management interface, and this is how you can set them up. You can modify the default values. The third-party authentication, oh, sorry, third-party AAA service. Here, it is very important that for this, we are talking about the authentication, administration authentication, right? This is not for users authentication. This is for administrations, for management. So for management, we support only Radius or TagX Plus. Also local, of course. But if you are using a AAA service, a server, sorry, have in mind that for administration authentication, it's only these two, okay? And as we can see here, we can choose the authentication server and set up the different we can set up the configuration right here. Multi-factor authentication, of course, it is possible to do it to do the multi-factor authentication. Of course, the first layer will be the username and the password, but we can do we can add a second factor for this authentication. So, for example, here we have this security authentication management. We can do this by SMS, text message, or via email. So that's how we can establish this multi-factor authentication. For the store management, as we know, all the storage management, as we know, well, all the devices have storage limit, right? So we can here set up some configurations, like for example, set up a threshold, for example, that it doesn't overpass the 90% of the capabilities. We can set up also an alarm that once this percentage has been reached, we can receive an alarm, so we can take further actions before losing our records. And for this log storage, we have two different options. Having in mind only that we are think that we are only using this device, the next generation firewall. Once the storage exceeds this threshold, what can happen first? It is to override the earliest the data. So the oldest data is going to be lost and is going to be override with newer data, or we can stop recording the data. Of course, this will be a better option than losing the. Is yes, yes, Skyler. MFA is available for A, X, and S series products. Yes, it is. Thank you very much for your question. And well, here are some tasks that if you have time take a look on your study materials, you can make you can do these tasks. If you need a virtual appliance, let us know, and we can share with you an image for you to facilitate you an image so you can work on these tasks. We are not going to stop on this during this training. Actually, these tasks are only done when the training is on site, and the duration of the training, instead of being 8 hours, is 24 hours. So for now, we are not going to stop on this. Okay, so we get to the end of this second chapter. So we're going to have a 15-minute break. So we will be back at the 30 minutes. Well, when it is, I don't know what time it is for you. For me, it's 1:15. When for me, it's 1:30. Whatever time is for you on half, we're going to come back. So go for coffee, stretch your legs. If there are any questions, we will be here to answer them. Of course, Luis, let's, okay. The rest of you, please take your break. I'm going to explain again the three powers. Oh, I passed it. Okay, so it is like how we ensure that the ownership of each task is done only by those that are authorized to do each task. So, for example, as the system management, for the system management, maybe we can do the configuration of some interfaces, but not we are not going to create a security policies or any rule that is related with the security. That is only for the system management, like how to manage the interfaces, for example. But and not it's not going to have the power or the privilege to do any modification on the security rules we are going to establish. So uh, the this is one level of power, right? One power, the system. The next is going to be the audit. For example, if you have to provide access to the device for an external or for someone that also is part of the company, but it doesn't has any privilege of doing any modifications on the device. This person should only be able to watch, to look into the records, into the logs, but the audit is not going to be capable of doing any modifications neither on the system or the security rules. And the security management, it is the highest level of authority, of power that the system has, because the security management has overall access or overall capabilities over these other levels. But this also can set up the security rules that are going to actually impact into the efficiency of the security, right? So, for example, this system management cannot establish which IPs must be blocked or allowed. It is only going to establish, for example, to which zones these interfaces are related, general configurations of the device. well, nothing that it is going to impact directly over the security. The audit is going to review, is going to be able to make these audits like to verify what's going on, but neither it's going to be able to make modifications over the system or over the security. It is going to be a witness, we can say, right? It's only going to witness what's happening, and this is the highest authority. The security management is the highest authority over the the device, because also the security management can set up these other roles and assign it to other members of the team. I don't know, Luis, if this explanation is good enough. Please let me know. No, thank you. Always a pleasure. Okay, see you in 10 minutes, guys. Okay, so let's move into the last chapter. We're going to have today. Actually, this is one of the longest chapters on the whole training. We are going to reach up to the half of it by today. And tomorrow we are going to finish it and move forward to the next chapters that are are less that are shorter than this one. So let's go. So the agenda for this chapter is the STEM OS system architecture, the security policy, the network deployment mode, the route technology, and the NAT technology. As I mentioned before, we are going to see about SourceNet, DNet, and all these NAT technologies. So let's go on. Let's start with the StoneOS system architecture. Let's have in mind that there are three contexts, basic contexts that we are going to review. What are the security zones? Sorry, excuse me. Security zones, the StoneOS architecture, and the interface configuration. So the security zone, let's start thinking about what is a security zone. Well, it is a collection of at least one or more interfaces or network segments that were the fit, and it is the main feature of a firewall that makes a firewall. That's the main difference between a firewall and a router, that we can establish these segments or these zones, that it is a feature that it is not possible to do with a router. So this is the first big difference between firewall and router. So the firewall use these security zones, of course, to make these divisions within the network. And the security, and it's going to make these security checks when the messages, the packets flows between these security zones. We can establish rules that are going to allow some zones to communicate with others, or even to be completely isolated. So this this is what the main purpose of the security zone. Uh, as we said here, to control the traffic transmission among those zones. And of course, what it says here is completely true. It is completely independent from physical interfaces. So it makes the security rules to get more capable of being flexible. So this is the core concept for the security zone. We have some predefined zones on the StoneOS. Some are for layer 2 and the others for layer 3. As we can say, there are, well, of course, layer 2 zones works on layer 2, and layer 3 zones work on the layer 3 mode. So that's something we can infer. And actually, if you look at these 8 predefined security zones in the StoneOS, it is very easy to spot those that belongs to the layer 2, because all of them start with this prefix L2, 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 and all of them that do not has the layer 2 prefix, it means that they belong, of course, to the layer 3, right? So for example, the trust on trust DMC, we have layer two trust zone, layer two zone on trust, of course, and layer two DMC. VPN, of course, it's not possible to be on layer two. There's no way, and also neither high availability. We also can customize those security zones. Those are predefined, but of course we can name it as whatever we want. We can make these divisions of the network according to our specific needs. So the StoneOS architecture has the following components: the zones on the layer accordingly they belong to, the interfaces that this can be virtual interfaces, physical interfaces, the virtual switch, the virtual router, because we can say that all next generation firewalls, they do not have a physical router, neither a switch with inside the box, right? But they has the virtual switch and a virtual router. So they have the computer resources specifically assigned to complete to fulfill these functions. And what is also very important, the policies. So basically, okay, I'm going to make this line so we can think that everything that it is above this red line is virtual, right? That's something that we cannot touch, we cannot see, but we can understand that it's something logical. It is there, and all of these interfaces that we can ports, Ethernet ports that we can see here, they are physical. We can look at them. We can plug some cables to it, right? So basically, as we can see, this each each interface belongs to a zone, and each zone can have several interfaces. But once an interface it's binded to a zone, it cannot belong to a different zone. Please let me know if I am being very clear about this, because it's important to understand this. So these zones, the layer two zones, of course, can communicate through the virtual switch. The virtual switch is the one who is going to forward the packets within between these zones. And of course, we have if we want, sorry, and the B switch can also communicate to a layer 3 zone that is going to provide us the gateway, the path to the gateway, so we can go out through the internet, right? Here's the virtual router. This is the default name that you are going to find even when doing CLI configurations. It is the Trust VR, the Trust Virtual Router. So as you can see here, these are the core components, and it is as we can see here. For example, we can have this interface that it is connected, that it is binded to a layer 3 zone, so it doesn't has to pass over a layer 2. Of course, the default the standard by default, it is that the different zones cannot communicate between them at least we have explicitly allowed them. We have configured a security rule that is going to allow them to have this communication. And of course, this if means interface, of course, for this virtual switch. The virtual switch has their own virtual interfaces, right? So that are going to allow us to connect to these layer three zones. Please let me know if this part of the architecture diagram is clear. If not, we can go back. The interface types we can find, of course, there are two different types. As I have said before, the physical interface and the logical interface. Physical, I think there's no need to explain what it is because we can see it all over the the device, right? There are all a lot of interfaces right here. But for the logical interfaces, we can see the virtual switch interface, that it is what I have mentioned before. The soft interface that we can configure them. The virtual LAN interface, tunnel interface, aggregate interface, and redundant interface. We have all of these types of logical interfaces. We're going to over the rest of the training, we are going to look at some of them. So you can have a better understanding of what means with each of these logical interfaces. And of course, as I said, according to the binding zone, right here I told you the binding zone of each interface. They can be, of course, they can be categorized into layer 2 interface or layer 3 interface. As we saw here, as I mentioned, these interface are going to be layer 3 interfaces. And this interface, for example, the 0U, is going to be a layer 2. It's right. It's easy to follow that. So for the IP type, we have three different types of IP that we can assign to each interface. As we can see here on the user interface, here's the web UI, sorry. Here's the Ethernet interface, and here we are going to assign a binding zone to each. Maybe we can add here a description, the zone on which we are going to assign to. There it can be the DMC, it could be the trust zone, the on trust zone, whatever. And we can do it with the three different types. It can be a static IP that we are going to assign, and we are going to provide a net mask. It could be with a dynamic DHCP. Also, it could be dynamic. This protocol is going to dynamically assign the IPs. Or also, we can do a PPP over Ethernet. So we can choose whatever it fits better with the deployment we are doing, right? Here for the static interface, for example, here, select layer 3 and compare a static, for example, here is, of course, assigned, as it is mentioned here, to the layer 3, to the trust zone, and it is a static IP /24. Well, yeah, it is an /24. So this is how we can do it with the static. We can assign a static IP to the interface. Now, for the DHCP, the dynamic host but to doing it dynamically, here is the path we have to follow on the web user interface. And we're going to, we have to enable the default route generation that it is right here. So it is also very straightforward, no big deal, no anything that makes it more complex. As you can see, it's very simple in how to assign this by dynamically. Well, and the PPP over Ethernet that it is not mentioned here, but of course that's another option that you can use to assign the IPs. Okay, now the zone. What is the zone? What is the V switch and what is the V router? As we have seen before, the layer 2 zone is bounded to the virtual switch. As we can see here, layer 2 bounded to the virtual switch, right? The layer 3 zone is bounded to the virtual router. I think that there's no need that I go back and forward again. So it is very easy. So as I said, an interface is bounded to a security zone, but also the interface can be bound only to one zone. It's not possible to assign interfaces to multiple zones. It's only one. But as we said, it's like this is from one way and to see this, but this is the other way. But a zone can contain multiple interfaces. So it is very easy. We can say that these are the interfaces and this is the zone. So and here is another zone, right? With some other interfaces. As we can see, they do not share interfaces, but interfaces can share the zone, can be on the same zone. And what we saw before, layer 2 zone interfaces bounded to this zone are called layer 2 interface. Those who are bounded to the layer 3 zones are called the layer 3 interfaces. And of course, the layer 3 interface has their own IP address and of course their management services, right? Because they are able to reach the internet. So now for the security policies, as we have said before, this is a security policy is the basic function of the network security appliance. So the policy is designed to control the traffic that is being forwarded between these security zones. And the default, the action by default always with Houston is going to be deny all traffic between those security zones. So if we are trying to reach through this from this zone, we are trying to reach this other zone, but there's no a policy that explicitly allows this communication. It's going to be denied because, as we say, this is the default action, right? And of course, as it is mentioned here, it will be denied based on the policy rules. The flow between the security zones, what I have mentioned. If we have create a rule that a policy rule that allows the communication is going to happen. If not, it's impossible that it's going to happen. So there are filtering conditions we can use. For example, the source zone or address. Of course, also the destination zone of address. We can filter with this. The type of traffic, if it's going to be an HTTP, FTP, whatever type of traffic that is going to be there. These are the basics, I can say the standard, that what we actually need to establish a policy rule. These others that has this asterisk right here are actually optional, right? These others are optional. These maybe we can use them, but these are not mandatory. What we need as mandatory information is these three that are mentioned up here. We have different actions that can be triggered depending on the conditions of the policy rule that we have set up. We can allow or well permit the communication. We can deny. We can do the security connection, web authentication, tunnel or from tunnel. That we're going to go a little bit uh, uh, deep dive on this. Well, not deep dive, but we are going to mention this more specific on further slides. For the configuration, we can see here that, well, actually, we go policy global, and once we want to create this policy, a new policy, we want to use the following command. First, rule. Okay, so if we actually we can cut, we can say we can do code here. Actually, this info we can assign an ID. It's a good practice. We can establish where we are going to place it. But actually, what we really need here is from where? Where is this traffic starting, right? So we can assign a zone, we can assign this source address, for example, and where is it going to? So where this is the where is the destination? We can add here destination address. Here now the service. It can be as we say the HTTP, HTTPS. We can be say even say any for all of these aspects. We can say from any to any. We can be so general, right? Or we can be very specific. We actually can make groups. Well, we're going to go there in a little bit. Then what is going to be the the action? If it's going to permit, to deny, to do the tunnel, from tunnel, web authentication, or portal server. So these are the general the most the aspects that must be included. No, there's like it's no negotiable, right? There always must be mentioned these aspects to create a policy rule. We can add the others or skip them. Of course, if we do not assign the ID to a policy rule, it will automatically assign it an ID to the policy rule. So, and if we do not by default if we do not specify where we want to place this policy, it's going to be placed at the bottom. But actually, this ID, it doesn't has to be a sequence, right? For example, if you have created ID, well, it could be a good practice to to do it in sequence. But for example, you can uh, you can move them, and I'm going to show you later. But when you have all your security policies, all your security policies established, maybe they are not going to be ordered by sequence, and we are going to see why. But in for the slides. So for the policy configuration, here's the command line configuration, configure, policy global, uh, rule. Well, we are going to see from these objects. We're going to look at them in a minute. So the rule from, as I say, to, and the service action. That's it. As we can see here is from all the address that are on the book one to any, from the sound trust to sound on trust, because we have to also, of course, mention this the sounds. The service is any permit. So any address that is here, that is that is trying to establish communication to whatever, that is from the sound trust to the on trust zone. So from the inside our perimeter to the outside of our perimeter, we are going to permit all communications. Basically, that's what it is establishing on this rule. Then we can use this command, show policy. We can of course add these parameters to establish, to be more granular, to be more specific on what policy we are looking for, right? And we want to have a better understanding of their limits. So there's the ID, the source, the destination. So we can use this comment for this objective. So here, what it's happening is that, as we can see, this is our trust zone, right? And this is the IP address from this user. So what we are creating this on this policy configuration is that from source zone trust, yes, any, okay. So this could be this user or whatever user. What is the source source user? This is the destination zone. Sorry, we're going to the on trust zone. On trust, okay. What is the destination address? Any. So we can reach whatever is outside there on the net on the web, right? The service any. Okay. Service any, and application HTTP or HTTPS action permit. So here, as we can see, we are allowing the communication from this zone to here. And as we have seen before, the session concept, we do not have to create another policy to allow the traffic that is a response, right? Here, actually, I'm going to give you some minutes to give answer here. According to the below, the network topology below, can the PC, what PC, whatever PC, or well, this with the PC of which we have the IP, of course, can access to this FTP server. The first question is, can it access to the FTP server? And the next question is, which policy rule will be matched? Have in consideration that the policies are evaluated from top to bottom, and the first rule that match is the one we are going to that well that it's going to be taken in consideration, that it is going to be used. So as I say to you, this is not order in sequence, right? Here's number one, here's 15, here is 13. So please, I'm going to wait for your answer here. Does the PC can access the FTP server? Yes or no? And depending on your answer, which ID corresponds to what is going what is matching to this request. I'm going to wait 2 minutes. Well, some question. Okay. 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 Almost everyone has. Please, if you have any comment or question, I can see that you are raising your hand. But please, any question or comment, left it on the Q&A. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, Luis, you correct yourself. Nice, great. Okay, Saul, Catur, Luis, everyone is right. It's okay here. For all the who are raising your hands, again, write down your comments on the Q&A or questions. So we are going to everyone answer correctly. I am very happy. Thank you, guys. So it means that or you know a lot or you're paying attention. So anyways, it's good. So we're going to check here. First, the first rule, what says? It's on trust, yes, the source. Address any, yeah, okay. Two, on trust, okay. Address any, service, DNS, oh, okay, no. This is not working for us because the service is DNS and we need FTP. The next one is going from trust, okay. The IP address, okay, it is also okay, but it is going to the DMC. So no, this doesn't match. Okay, now the next one is it's starting from on trust. No, sorry, you are not the rule I'm looking for. Now 16, which is actually everyone who answered right. It is the 16 the rule that match. It is going from trust address any, okay, perfect. Going to the on trust, okay, so address any, service any, but the action is denied. So of the answer is no. It cannot access to it cannot access to the cannot reach the FTP server. Danan, yes, I say that you mentioned the 13, but remember that the first rule that match is the one who is going to be applied. Now, for example, if we move, as you say, it's very interesting your comment, because if we move this rule above the rule 16, it's going to allow to permit to reach, right? But this rule must be placed above this other that it is denying. And actually, it could be it's good that you mention it, because it could be a misplacement of this rule, because actually it is explicitly saying that this this IP must reach any service out there. So it may be misplaced here about this rule, and this is why it's very important to to have this in mind when placing this these rules, right? Very very good, guys. Okay, so as I said, the first flow packet matches the rule policy. This is the well, the first policy, the policy rule, the flow packet match with, right? Well, potato. So this is the first, only the first rule is the one who is going to be taken in consideration. If there are rules uh, before that, no, before, under that rule, it's not going, despite it is, maybe it could be contradictory, right? Or it could be saying whatever, but it is not going to be taken in consideration because we already have match and that's it. So, and remember that always the rules are going to be reviewed. The traffic it's going to review these rules. The next gen firewall, sorry, is going to review the traffic and a contrast against these rules from top to bottom and process the traffic according with the first match rule. So have this in mind when placing them. And if there's no, well, of course, the default policy rule denies. And of course, if there is no rule that mentions something about it, the action is going to be denied. That we're going to explain this on a chart later. The position, the policy position. Here we can see that we can choose when editing these rules. We can say I want it at the top or at the bottom, or for example, here before ID. For example, if we wanted to move this ID 13 above 16, then it will be before 16, right? Or before ID 16, or we can give it a name also to the policies. But actually, I find it more easy to manage with IDs instead of names. And we can, of course, mention here the position and give it a description. There's there's no drag and drop. Like I cannot just draft click on this policy and take it over or under. No. That is no possible. So we can use this move menu and we can choose uh, where we are going to move these policies. Okay, so of course we can use the CLI, sorry. We are going to move, provide the ID, and then select the action we are going to give to this movement, right? So that it's very straightforward. It's not very complicated. Okay, so the security policy matching principles. This chart is going to explain us in a very simple way how does this works. So here is the package, and the packet first is whenever this security is there a security policy configure? If yes, well, first we are going to know with no. Let's imagine that it is a brand new file. So it's going to operate with a default action. What is the default action? Deny. So if there's no security policy, sorry, I have no instructions for this. I cannot allow you to go there. Okay? But what happened if yes, there are security policies configured? Okay, it's going to compare all the matching conditions in the first policy. If it, for example, match all the conditions, first we're going to with no. Is there another policy exist another policy? Let's say that no. Okay, again, default action. Default action is a nay. But now go with the yes. Okay, so when it match all the conditions with the first policy, let's say that no. Well, is there another policy existing? Yes. So let's go with the second. And again, match all conditions, yes or no. So it's an iterative process, as you can see. And here, if it is yes, as we in the example we have seen before, is going to execute the action configured on this policy. So it is, as you can see, it's a very simple chart, and it's how it works actually. So it is the process that we have already mentioned here. There are rules, yeah. Compare against next rule, compare against next rule, compare against next rule. Do we have a match? Yes. Okay, if we have the match, let's use that action. Let's execute the action that it is being mentioned there. Okay. Okay. Now, I was going to speak in Spanish. Sorry. Uh, uh, Before I have mentioned the objects. These objects includes, for example, address books, in which this book contains at least one or several addresses. The same here, books for hosts. We can create books for services, for applications, but also we can work over schedules. We can assign a time frame or time range for some policies to be applied or to be ignored. So this is flexibility we can have with these policy rules based on these schedules. Of course, we can mention also the AAA servers uh, for users and roles and track objects. The track objects, um, we are going to look at it, I think, almost at the end of this training. So first, the address book. Here is the example on the web UI. Here, for example, we should give a name to this address book. Actually, it's mandatory, as you can see here. And obviously, it is a good practice to give it a name that it is not random, makes sense. Here we can choose, for example, a specific IP with the net mask, or we can choose a range of IPs. We can also do it by host name or here address book, IP wildcard also, or this is a very popular, has become very popular country or region that we can actually allow or block the flow of the traffic based on this parameter. So this is, for example, maybe for this server, I am in Mexico, so maybe and this is for only for government permits, right? So maybe I am not interested that anyone from other part of the world access to this server. So maybe I can only allow the traffic that is incoming from this region, from this country, right? So this is the objects actually makes us the setup easier because instead of doing it one by one manually, we can group under different under different categories, we can say, and it will make, of course, it will make it easier and faster, of course, to implement, to deploy these security policies. Here is the host book that actually the host book can be these objects can be done, for example, by domains. For example, Google. We can also use regular expressions like this asterisk that it means whatever it is before and the after, facebook.com. So we can do it, the host book manually, but also if we have a file in which we already have write down the domains we want to include in this book, it is possible to do that. And of course, if you have mastered the regular expressions, you can use them too. So you can cover wider land with fewer inputs, right? So the service book, for the service book, actually, for this one particular, it is better idea if you want to, or a customer, a user wants to set up a service book, it would be a better idea to ask a sales engineer from Houston to help you to to configure this one about services. Here we can, for example, add, as we can see here, different types of traffic, right? Of service, of course. Uh, User-defined services. Like here we can define it, of course, based on the service, but also by the users. Here, for example, we can choose the type of service and of course the range of the ports. Maybe we want to assign only one, as it is here, 8080 8080, and that's it. That's for the services. It is as you can see, very simple to follow. Here's the user defined service group. Here we can, of course, we have to provide a name, good practice to add a description. And here we can add the members, the users. So as it says here, define the corresponding server into the group to the convenient configuration. So this service group, as it is mentioned here, is mostly for servers. So please, if you have any question, because sometimes you are very quiet, so if you have any question, please write it down uh, in the Q&A. And also, of course, the application book. We can group applications here. Also here, it could be good practice to receive aid, help from the sales engineer from Houston to make it this more easier, because sometimes it could be a little bit catchy, right? Okay, so the schedule. This is what I was mentioning you before. It could be days, even time frame. If we want to set up a rule that maybe I'm, it's just an example. Maybe I'm going to give you all a test, and I don't want anyone to be able to to try to navigate to the internet, so no one can cheat on this test. So I can set up a time frame that during the time frame of the test, no one can do that. But for example, we can set up some on days that maybe the security guard can access to Netflix on weekends. So maybe from Monday to Friday, we can set up this rule that it is going to deny the traffic to this streaming platform. So the security guard is not going to be distracted, right, by this media contents, and is going to be focused on his work or her work. So, um, please have in consideration that the time that it is going to be effective on this schedule configuration, it is completely related with the time that you configure at the beginning that I show you, that it could be with NTP, Network Time Protocol. It is going to be, that is going to be the reference for this rule. So maybe if you are having workers or contractors on different time zones, uh, maybe it's going to be a good practice to have this in mind. For example, if I want to access some, if I want to access some with my IP, and there's a specific rule configured on the next generation firewall of the data center of Houston, and I want to access it on Friday at my 5 p.m. It will be 7 a.m. on Saturday in China. So they will say, where this is not even your work time. So why are you trying to access? Well, the reality is that for my perspective, I am on my time work on my time frame, right? In my work time frame. So have this in consideration to avoid any possible confusions, because it's not going to be, of course, based on the user time zone, right? So to create a schedule, we go here to schedule, we add it, we define if it is going to be on daily basis. We are going to assign some specific days, as we said, or a specific duration as the example of the tests I mentioned before, right? So this is very useful, and this is of course, remember, this is an object. You have to call the object when writing the policy. I'm going back to be a little bit more clear about this. Uh, Here, uh, actually, I underscore it. We are calling the object, right? So have this in consideration when you're writing down your security policies. Oops, here. Okay, here, for example, we can apply this scale to a security policy, we using the web interface. Here we have the policy, and for example, we can add this. For example, here's for gaming. The no playing games here is allowed, as you can see. So anyone schedule work. So here we are going to mention that this schedule is going to do during the work time, right? So no one who is doing inside of the perimeter, of course, that is trying to access this game applications. The traffic, well, we can, here's work schedule that we are calling it. We have created already. We can decide what's going to be the action here. And here, well, we have some, again, some tasks that you can do by your own. I want to repeat it. If you want to have a virtual instance on your site, let us know. We can share with you an image so you can have a virtual firewall and do all these tasks. It is a good practice actually because you are going to have a deeper understanding of how to implement all the concepts we have reviewed during the, the sessions. So uh, there, the policy global configuration. As we can see, we can have multi-security zone mode or single security zone mode. So as we can see here, a policy that, as it mentions here, is a policy that supports configuring multiple security zones simultaneously to reduce the number of policies required in the system. So we can do this to effectively reduce the number of policies to make it more manageable, more easy to spot and to arrange the order of those policies. And the single security zone mode are those policies that only supports configure one source zone or one destination zone. And of course, by default, this is the single security zone is the default mode that we have for this policy global configuration. There's this is very, very interesting, the policy hit count. Actually, for the policy hit count, here we're going to, here every time a policy match, we are going to receive here a number. Maybe it could be +1, +2, whatever. But what happens, for example, if a rule is not getting a hit count, it can mean different things. But maybe it can mean that the policy is not being effective. That actually maybe there is another policy above that it is it's matching. So the action defined on that rule is what is being taken in consideration as we clearly saw and here in this example that maybe our purpose was that these addresses can reach the FTP server as an example before. But as this is matching before, is taking all the hit counts. Maybe this is getting into 130 and this still be zero. So when we spot these zeros on the hit count over the time, it maybe can it can mean that maybe that traffic flow has never been detected, or of course the placement of the policy is wrong, because of course and it makes a lot of sense. Why would I like to have this policy while this other above it's blocking everything that this other is allowing, right? So that's why the hit count is so important. So if we use uh, excuse me, this comment, show policy hit count, of course, with CLI. We are going to have order by sequence. Then we can see the name, the source zone, the destination. So well, all this data, and of course, we're going to get the hit count here. And look, for example, this one, the others above and below has a lot of hit counts, while this one is it's being useless, right? If it is misplaced, it's being useless. Maybe it could be the other factor I have mentioned before, that maybe it is the traffic has not that traffic specific traffic has not been detected yet. But this is um, well, not an alarm, but something that must um, attract our attention, right? And we can, with Houston, we have this policy optimization. So if we use the redundancy check, exactly that it is redundant, the redundancy of what I'm going to say, but uh, it checks that if there are like policies, as we said before, here, policy ID 13 and 16, so there's a redundancy, right? So because uh, both of them are almost configured the same, and that obviously this one includes all of these addresses, so it's being redundant, and but then with different actions. Redundant, it doesn't mean that the action is it has to be the same. Redundant is that all of this all of this uh, uh, for example, the options, all of these options are being redundant. So once we have done this redundancy check, then we can easily spot them and then take further actions, like as we have said before. Well, we have a spot that there's this redundancy. What's going on? Oh, this is under this other. This is taking all the traffic, so take it above. Or maybe this one was a mistake, whatever. Maybe okay, delete it. Maybe we don't need it actually, so we can delete it, and we avoid this future confusion, right? We can actually import and export these policies, as we can see this, and this is a very, very important fact. Only that file, only this format is supported. okay, when we are importing. So this is a tip I given to you actually for your test. Only that file is supported when we are importing this these policies, and also we can export the policies. Of course, if we want to save them for further occasions, and if we want to, maybe, for example, if we would like to use it, we will, maybe we just want to have the backup. Maybe we want to use them on another uh, device. It depends on you, but this is also very important. And actually, I think that this is going to be everything for today. Uh, uh, we finished almost 25 minutes before, but I don't know, Adif, if you have something else you would like to say. Okay, well, seems not. So, uh, when you will, we're going to stop here by today. So, if at the end of the session, when you leave or when I finish the the session, you are going to receive a satisfaction survey. It is it will be very good for us if you can answer it. It will not take you more than 4 or 5 minutes top. So it will be very valuable for us if you can grade the training, as the contents, as a trainer, and provide us some feedback. So see you tomorrow. Please, if you can, if you have any chance to look in advance, to review in advance the contents, that will be great because you will be here with maybe with some questions already, and we can look at them. We can try to solve them in the better way. So that's all for today, guys. Thank you very much for joining. I hope that you have enjoyed the training. It has been a pleasure for me to be with you today. My name is Rafael. So anything you need, I am here to serve you. Please, happy Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Oh no, it is Thursday for you. Sorry, tomorrow. So see you tomorrow, and um, let's keep in touch. Okay, in contact. Okay, bye bye. Have a nice one. No, no, thank you guys. Thank you, Luis. Thank you, Saul, Anhar, and Danang. Everyone, thank you. See you tomorrow. Thank you, Munidevan, Skanda, Fadina. Thank you, Axel. Thank you so much. No, no, it is my pleasure. Thank you, guys. Nata Wood. Thank you. Dat. Thank you also. Thank you too. Please, Katur, uh, I am pretty sure that most of you are going to have a very great result on your tests. So no worries, no worries. It's going to be not so difficult for you, I'm sure for that. And also, if you have before taking the test, you have questions, please feel free to reach us. Can cry. Thank you. Please, everyone, feel free to leave the session whenever it's okay for you. And thank you so much. Okay, well, I'm going to close the session and have a good day. I'm going to rest a little bit, but see you tomorrow. Bye bye.